You can design a system to achieve a specific goal, but through its own internal logic, it can start to produce the exact opposite. And this isn't some kind of glitch or an error. It's actually a feature. It's a structural logic that, once you set it in motion, it just operates, almost beyond our control.
So, let's look at an example. In British-ruled Delhi, the objective was simple, totally rational. They needed to reduce the population of venomous cobras to make the city safer. And the solution they came up with seemed just as rational, a direct incentive. They offered a bounty that would be paid for every single dead cobra brought to an official. The rule was clear, the action was rewarded. Simple, right?
Well, the result wasn't fewer cobras. The result was a dramatic increase in the cobra population. See, people, acting perfectly rationally within the rules of the system, just started to farm them. I mean, why go out and hunt cobras when you can just breed them, kill them, and collect the bounty with way less effort?
Eventually, the government figured out what was going on and they canceled the bounty. So what did the cobra farmers do? Again, acting rationally, they just released their now worthless snakes into the city. The problem was suddenly far worse than when it all began. Now, this wasn't just a failure of planning. It was the predictable result of a hidden logic, an invisible force that operates within the systems all around us. What the cobra problem really shows us is this fundamental human impulse. We want to impose order on chaos. We build systems because we want efficiency. We want rational control over a really complex world.
And this impulse, it actually has a technical name: bureaucracy. And I don't mean that as an insult. It's a term for organizing human activity on a large scale. And its key ingredients are things like hierarchy, expertise, and, this is the most important part, fixed rules.
To really get how this works, I want you to imagine a wild, unpredictable river. It floods, it runs dry, it's constantly changing its course. It's chaotic, right? It's really difficult to manage.
So our first rational act is to try and get some control. We build some simple walls to channel the river, just to make its flow predictable, maybe even useful. This isn't a full-blown system yet, but it's the start of one. The impulse is always to manage what we can see.
But what about the things we can't easily see? Complex, abstract goals, like the overall health of that river's ecosystem, or maybe the well-being of a society. Those things are almost impossible to measure directly. So the system, in its deep need for order and control, doesn't even try to measure the unmeasurable. Instead, it picks a proxy, a simple, visible indicator that it thinks represents the bigger goal.
And I want you to really notice the choice of proxy here. The system doesn't measure water quality or fish populations or biodiversity. No, it just places a single stick in the water to measure one thing and one thing only: its height at a single point.
And right there, with that one simple measurement, the entire focus of the system shifts. The new official task becomes really simple: keep the water level at exactly 2 meters. All those other things about the river, they become totally irrelevant.
So once the measurement becomes the target, the behavior of every rational person inside that system changes. The new objective isn't to achieve the original goal anymore. It's just to satisfy the new rule.
Think about colonial Hanoi. They had a massive rat infestation, so they started a bounty. And the proxy for a dead rat was its severed tail. The rule was crystal clear: one tail, one reward. And guess what? The system delivered precisely what was asked of it. People started catching rats, cutting off their tails for the bounty, and then releasing them to breed, making sure there was a steady supply of future tails. The measurement was achieved perfectly, the original goal completely undermined. You see the exact same logic in modern gun buyback programs. The goal is to reduce dangerous firearms. The rule? Pay a set price for any object that legally qualifies as a firearm. So what did people do? Again, acting rationally. They started 3D printing cheap, non-functional plastic parts that just barely met the minimum legal definition, and then they sold them to the program for a profit. The system got exactly what it paid for. But the number of dangerous weapons on the street? Totally unaffected. And this is exactly what happens to our river. Its health isn't the focus anymore. The system starts building upstream dams, diverting tributaries, digging artificial channels, all for one single purpose: to make sure the water passes that one measuring stick at exactly 2 meters high. The consequences of this logic just keep escalating.
The system's rules are no longer a tool. They become a reality in themselves, a structure you just can't escape. The system is no longer about public health or safety. It's about producing cobra carcasses or rat tails or 3D printed parts. It's all about satisfying the rule that it created for itself.
This outcome was actually described as an iron cage. It's a trap where every individual, each one acting logically to optimize for the rules, collectively becomes a servant to a system that has completely lost its original meaning.
Our river really shows this kind of lock-in. To guarantee the measurement never, ever deviates, the channel is completely encased in concrete. It becomes rigid, permanent, irreversible. The living river is gone. The system is the concrete channel now.
And this brings us to the final, and maybe the most unsettling, realization about how these systems actually operate.
From inside its own logic, the system isn't failing at all. In fact, it's succeeding perfectly. These absurd, counterproductive outcomes we see, they aren't errors. They are direct evidence of its efficiency. It's like when a hospital's performance is measured by how quickly it discharges patients. Well, it gets really good at discharging patients. That metric improves. But if the original goal was patient health, the outcome is often worse. People get sent home too soon, only to be readmitted later in even worse condition. The system delivered on its metric, though. And our concrete channel? It works flawlessly. Day in and day out, the water level passes the stick at exactly 2 meters. It is a model of perfect, rational control. And the surrounding ecosystem, the original reason for managing the river in the first place, is now completely dead. You see, the failure was never a mistake. It was inevitable. The system was never designed to see the river. It was designed to see the measuring stick. And in the end, a system doesn't do what we want it to do. It does what we measure.